Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mystery Red Reads. I'm your host, Mystery Red, and this is my disclaimer. This beta read in Concord is at the author's request. This video is for learning purposes. Today we're looking at a piece of original fiction. We are looking at Chapter 11 of Infinite Shades by Crystal Committee. I have an entire playlist for all of my reads for Crystal Committee, and actually I think most all of my authors that I've done multiple reads for have their own playlist. Oh, The Great Wicked is another one, yeah. I remember in my last video, I listed out my authors, and I was like, I know I have more, and I do. I have Unbreakable Bonds by The Great Wicked that I've been reading for her as well. So, and then I have some that are private, and so if you're ever wondering if I'll do a read for you, I do first chapter reads for free. I am currently working on either setting a time limit or a word count limit on how long those are, so that I can read for more authors. And my first reads are the first read for you would be free. So don't be afraid to reach out to me if you don't want your video made public. I can do it for you privately. So you do not have to have a public video if you think that this is an experience that you want or that it would be helpful to you. And thank you to everybody who's been following me and everyone who's bought me a coffee. I so appreciate coffee. It's so yummy. So with that, we are going to dive right in here. We are on chapter 11 and it says section 1. That's new. And there's no note on it, so I'm wondering about that. Let's just get in and see what it might mean. Is it like part 1 of chapter 11? I'm wondering. I mean, section 1 being one of. Okay, we're just gonna get in. Garrett enters the open area. Sam is sitting on the edge of a desk speaking with Scott's team. Pausing. So, open area. Okay. I'm gonna read it through, and then I'm gonna ponder open area for just a minute. Garrett enters the open area. Sam is sitting on the edge of a desk speaking with Scott's team. A few eyes notice him, wondering what brought him down to this floor. Okay, so open area. Are we like in office space? Is there like cubicles everywhere across the room? Is it a meeting room? I guess that wouldn't be open. So I'm kind of getting cubicles, and here I didn't know what open area was at all. Like open area could be outside. Open area could be, a number of things. And I didn't even start to get the cubicle kind of vision, even though there's none mentioned, from the word this floor down to this floor. So then I start thinking of like a multi-level building. So my question is, I guess, can we be a little bit more specific with open area or add a detail to kind of help that opening visual? I'm going to say notes and video rather than retype all of that, because I'd just be saying the same thing again, and you will know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Just checking out a message. Okay. Sometimes you guys message me while I'm reading for you. One thing I do appreciate is if you don't go in to the document while I'm doing a read, because it will lock up. I did one the other day, and the whole entire document turned purple, and I could not figure out what was going on. And then I started getting responses to things I was doing while I was creating the video. So that would probably be something we might not want to do. Okay. Agent Clements, Garrett calls, gesturing for Sam to direct her attention towards him. Uh-oh, Sam says with a wink as Sam turns toward the voice. Okay. Scott says. Scott. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and observe something. So here's the thing. This is a draft, and I know this is a draft, but it's absurd and it's ridiculous, but I'm going to say it because I already know that that's why I'm messing up this sentence. And this is just me and my quirky little brain, which I know Crystal Committee will totally understand, that my brain is random. Okay. We have Times New Roman here, and I think this is like Arial. Yeah. We have Arial here. And what that I'm talking about is the font. And my brain is literally distracted by there being a font here and a font here. And that is so dumb and so trivial. And I know that is not something that they would have in their final draft. And this is a draft. So it's not even really worth mentioning at this point, except that my brain would not let me properly read this daggone sentence because it kept it kept being distracted by, hey, this font doesn't match. This font doesn't match. And I needed it to stop doing that. So I had to pause and give acknowledgement to it so that we could roll through. With that, I'm going to start on this line and try to read through again. Agent Clemens, Garrett calls, gesturing for Sam to direct her attention towards him. Uh-oh, Scott says with a wink as Sam turns toward the voice. You're in trouble. Why would you think that? Sam asks, sitting down the files. Great, just what I need, an audience for this little surprise. Because SAC Garrett only comes down here when someone's in trouble, Andrew adds. I asked around. We just got here. I haven't even had a chance to cause trouble, she rolls her eyes. You guys got this. They wave her off with grinning smirks as she walks. Okay. I saw walks and we had wave and walks, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but my brain went, is there two walks in close proximity? And there's not. It's wave and walks, so we're fine. I'm just going to start the paragraph over. They wave her off with grinning smirks. As she walks, a familiar melody slides into her mind. Every move you make, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Yeah, no pressure. Just the whole office judging my every move. A quieter voice, regal and composed, drifts in behind. I do not want a window into men's souls. Okay, committee. I appreciate Queen Elizabeth I. I apologize, Your Majesty, if you're with them and I missed it, but I'd love one of those openings into Garrett's right now. Agent Clemens, Garrett greets, holding out his hand. She shakes it. I wanted to officially welcome you to the Seattle office. Thank you. You have a few minutes? Yes, sir. Sam follows him to the elevator. The whispered emotional exchanges behind her trailing off as they enter. Garrett scans his credentials and selects his floor. How's the first day going? He asks. It goes. Doesn't feel like day one. I've been with the team for a while now. Garrett nods. Aware. How's the case? Hitting a dead end, probably the same one from years ago, but fresh eye? I think we want eyes. Am I suggesting what's going to happen if I click this? Oh, it took out the whole word. I just want to add an S. Let's just type a little S right there. Okay, but fresh eyes. Something will break. The elevator doors slide open and Garrett strides forward with the kind of certainty that clears a path. Sam falls into step behind him, pulled by the current. Why does it feel talking to him is like getting sent to the principal's office? It's so funny because like Garrett and Sam know each other and they're putting on this kind of like facade in the formality of their conversation to kind of keep their history private. And it's for anybody who's not been following the entire story, it's not like that kind of, it's not like it's not like a past intimate relationship. It's more like he's like an uncle to her. And actually, he might even be her uncle. I'm still kind of confused about that part. You know how like sometimes your family's best friend and you call them your uncle, but they're biologically not. It's just there's a lot of things still to know. The elevator doors slide open and Garrett strides forward with the kind of certainty that clears a path. Sam falls into step behind him, pulled by the current. Why does it feel like talking to him is like getting sent to the principal's office? And I find that funny because it's like she kind of she can read it. She can kind of read the space around him. When it's someone you can kind of read them, so you kind of know whether or not. But then the way everybody's acting around them contributes to that you're in trouble thing. Like they really do think she's in trouble, I'm sure. Because like they said, the only reason he comes down, well, he's coming down because he knows her. But for them, they're like, oh, the boss is coming, the kind of thing. You can go your own way, sings. You can go your own way. Hopefully with my jaw dropping in here, sings, followed by a tactical voice whispering from the shadows of her mind. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Oh, Sun Tzu, cool, if you're actually in there. Tell the others to chill out. If you're not, good quote, appropriate. Yeah, I'll play nice for now, if you will. Balance you can comment, but not to interrupt us and distraction levels. Interruptions? Not to interrupt us. Not to interrupt us. Is this supposed to be two words? Wondering. But not to interrupt us. And distraction levels? Yes, I appreciate your input. It's just hard at times. So like anybody who is not, Sam's mind is like this, it was like a hurricane before the committee was in it. And now it is even more nonsensical with the committee in there kind of putting their voice into her head. And it's just like, she seems like a crazy person, but she's not. I mean, she's not doing things that are crazy. She's able somehow to balance and manage this extra voice in her head. But then again, was there, and this is a question for Crystal Committee, was there at one time Amanda and the committee in Sam's head with herself? Because her head was already full to begin. And I don't mean like a big head. I mean like it was crowded in there. So this having to deal just with one party, and well, they're a group, but to have to deal with one group in her mind without that extra voice in there might be a relief to her. And so this might not be that difficult for her to manage. It's kind of hard to say, but I would think that it would be maddening, or she could go mad. I really feel like, having all those voices in your head can drive a person crazy. All right, let me get back to, those are all reader musings, going to get back to work. Garrett's assistant finishes a phone call as they approach. A middle-aged African-American woman with her hair pulled back into a ponytail. She glances up and smiles. Garrett introduces them. Nora, Agent Samantha Clemens. Nice to put a face to the name, Nora offers with a warm smile. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experiences what you really are. Oh, if Machiavelli is in there. Sorry, I was assuming. At least you can admit it. Appreciate the subtle communication. Let's keep working on that. The same. All good, I hope, Sam replies. Of course, Nora hands a file to Garrett. Archives found the only one they thought they'd lost. Thanks, Carter should be here soon. Let me know when he arrives. Yes, sir. Garrett glances at Sam. I heard your feedback. Nora's raise has been submitted. Sam winks at Nora, who grins back. You've got a friend in me, plays in Sam's thoughts. Uh-huh, you know something, don't you? A second voice drips with cynical humor. A friend is someone who stabs you in the front. Oscar Wilde. Nice choice. I can take that and appreciate the eye out. As we discussed, if I don't need to know, you keep the tangents from me. But if I do, make it obvious, right? No backstabs, just the polite upfront ones. Garrett places his hand on the security sensor next to his office. High security, Garrett explains. Would expect nothing less, sir. Now we're going to go to section 2. And I'm pondering the division. So we didn't choose why did I do that? We didn't choose your typical kind of 3 stars in the center to separate the segments. We've got them listed as sections. I don't know, maybe that's for drafting purposes or for Crystal Committee's got something going on there. I am going to say when I read Sam's inner thoughts, and the committee is mixed in there, she kind of, the way she processes the thoughts by acknowledging it, and then she moves on. I follow I'll tell you what, and I'm saying this because this is pretty much every time she has an interaction in her head with them. This is what happens in my head. Okay, Sam winks at Nora, who grins back. You've got a friend in me, plays in Sam's thoughts. Uh-huh, you know something, don't you? A second voice drips with cynical humor. A friend is someone who stabs you in the front. Oscar Wilde, nice choice. I can take that and appreciate the eye out. As we discussed, if I don't need to know, you keep the tangents from me. But if I do, make it obvious, right? No backstabs, just the polite upfront ones. So it's almost like you have to give pause and think about what it is the committee is saying to her. Because they kind of speak in, quotes and in song, which makes it easier to identify that it's them speaking. And then she's having this conversation back to them, trying to basically, I guess or assume what it is they're trying to tell her. And I don't know if even after she does that, I don't know if I get everything that they're trying to tell her. So I'm not getting the depth of it. I'm not getting that, but I am getting the exchange, and I am able to kind of follow who is who. And let me break that down to see if it's correct. And this, I'm just doing this one paragraph, but it's because it basically follows the same format, which is good, and it's helpful to start to discern who is the committee and who is Sam. Sam winks at Nora, who grins back. You've got a friend in me, plays in Sam's thoughts. This is the committee. Uh-huh, you know something, don't you? That would be Sam. She's responding to them. A second voice drips with cynical humor. A friend is someone who stabs you in the front, Oscar. And then, okay, right there, that is the committee. Now, This is Sam, Oscar Wilde, nice choice. I almost wonder if we should have something here to let the reader know we flipped back to Sam. And then that tells us this is Sam's thought. Oscar Wilde, nice choice, she acknowledges. I can take that and appreciate the eye out. I'm not, oh, the eye out, as in they're looking out. Okay, here's the thing. What I wouldn't do is use an expression in Sam's thoughts because there's so many other things going on in all of this internal thought. Okay, we've got two parties. Well, I'm going to refer to the Crystal Committee as one person, even though I do understand it is a group of different different streams of consciousness. I don't know, different sentient beings. I don't know, different something communicating with her. I get that, but I'm going to refer to them as a second voice in her head. And so, to keep it clear for the reader back and forth, and maybe we do need to break down each one so that we know if I'm following it correctly and if there is any place left for confusion. Because if we're carrying on two voices in one mind, we probably need to be very careful that the reader's following it the way you want to and the way you intended for them to. We don't want their mind to go off and assume something that isn't what you wanted, because then it's not helping. Let's see. I can take that and appreciate the eye out. So this is her saying good looking out. All right. If she said good looking out, that would have been very self-explanatory and simple to me. Why is I can take that and appreciate the eye out not simple to me? Because my mind is distracted by following which one is the committee and which one is Sam. And so because the committee kind of speaks in song and in quote, when I see a saying in the text, I then have another thing to interpret, if that makes sense to you. So what I would suggest right here is just possibly either changing it to, good looking out, which is it is another saying, but it's very simple. I misread and then misinterpreted. I didn't really gather meaning behind appreciate the eye out. I almost thought, was that a reference to something from Oscar Wilde that I'm not familiar with? And no, it's not. It's her saying good looking out. So I missed that. I'm going to say notes and videos so you have my musings here. And this is more or less me kind of marking the spot where I did not initially, in my initial read, get the meaning out of this text. And this is the reason. And then that seems very self-explanatory, except that there's already a lot going on elsewhere in the paragraph. So I hope all of that is helpful and makes sense. And we probably should go back to wherever Sam is talking with the committee in it and make sure we know who is Sam and then who is the committee, and if everything is very understandable. As we discussed, if I don't need to know, you keep the tangents from me. But if I do, make it obvious, right? No backstabs, just the polite upfront ones. So what does she mean by that? No, would the committee backstab her? That's just great. You've got a consciousness in your mind that might backstab you. Is that, if that is the impression you wanted, that's the one I got. If it's not, then I'm confused by this last line. Okay. I guess I'm going to highlight it and just say notes and videos to draw attention to the specific spot that I had a thing. And I'm doing this so you can quickly find the exact spot, because otherwise you're just looking at all of the document and searching for the spot that I'm talking about. And I know that I'm making a video and showing it to you, but some of us, including myself, just listen to them. So like after I do a read, sometimes I'll go back and play it through and listen to what I'm saying and then argue with myself, which is fantastic. I'm kind of like Sam in that respect. Okay, Garrett places his hand on the security sensor next to his office. High security, Garrett explains. Would expect nothing less, sir. Okay, so we are on section 2. But before I start section 2, good Lord, I'm looking way up here. I don't know if there's other chapters in here or what. We are 20 minutes in. We're up at the top here. I'm a little scared. I'm going to stroll back up here and kind of look at other places where the committee talked with Sam, because I want to make sure that I'm as helpful as I can be, and that I did understand everything, that it all hit the way you wanted. They wave her off with grinning smirks. As she walks, a familiar melody slides into her mind. So when I hear that it's a familiar melody, that clues me in that that is the committee getting ready to speak. Every move you make, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Committee. Okay. And then say, and because it's kind of in quotations inside of in italics, I know that it's the committee, and then the response is Sam. Yeah, no pressure. Just the whole office judging my every move. A quieter voice, a regal and composed. Quieter voice, regal and composed, drifts in behind. This is the committee again, or someone in the committee. I do not want a window into men's souls. And then she literally acknowledges them. Okay, committee. So we know that it's Sam. I appreciate Queen Elizabeth I. I apologize. Should there be a comma? I'm just wondering. Your Majesty, if you're with them and I missed it, but I'd love one of those openings in Garrett's right now. Openings into Garrett's what? Into Garrett's what? Into his soul? Maybe just go ahead and say that. I'm going to type it in there if that's what you meant. I would go ahead and say that just because that there is so much going on when it's back and forth with those internal thoughts. Just for super clear, even if it seems obvious. I don't want to be absurd, but at the same time, I'm paying attention. Your reader is going to have to pay attention when they're reading your work. Okay, coming down here. And as I say, your reader's going to have to pay attention and not be a lazy reader, because that is a real thing, by the way. When I'm beta reading, I still miss a lot of the details, or I don't retain them. When I go back and I listen a second time, I'm like, okay, all right, that sounded really good. All right. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about what I'm reading, the material. And then I'll be like, why are you even going on about that? There was nothing wrong with it. Shut up and move on. Or you said too much. Just let it go. And then, so yeah, I yell at myself when I listen to my reads. It's hilarious. Sometimes they're good though. Sometimes I'm like, that's a good piece. I like that. I agree with that. Or I'm still having the same thought again. And I'm like, yep, that one was a good one. Okay. So let's look for another spot with the committee and Sam. You can go your own way. Okay. Sings. All right. This I don't understand. It's in italics and it says sings. Followed, sings what? Okay, I know the words are a melody in her head. But sings a voice? Sings, where's the noun? I think I'm missing a noun here. Maybe? Are we missing a noun? For example, the committee sings in her head, or let's see, followed by a tactical voice whispering from the shadows of her mind. Okay, Lord, this poor girl's got somebody singing at the same time somebody's saying something, and I can't even do that in reading, okay? I can't read for 2 lines at the same time. I can't do that. But can you imagine having that going on in your head along with your normal thoughts? How is Sam sane? And wait a minute, is Sam sane? That's probably debatable. Okay, you could go your own way. Sings something. I feel like we're missing a noun. Followed by a tactical voice whispering from the shadows of her mind. The opportunity of defeating the enemy. All right, so this is the committee. And now the tactical voice following from the shadows of her mind tells me this is also the committee. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. And then Sam is responding to it. Oh, Sun Tzu, cool, if you're actually in there. Okay, I almost think maybe... Okay, so we're in internal thoughts, so this is even more tricky. You're doing a really good job handling all this. It's a lot. I'm trying to figure out how to do something that I think I know that it's Sam. You know what? I'm just going to identify if I know who it is, and then you're going to know if you did your job right and if you need to tweak something. So I'm going to quit overthinking it, and I'm just going to go with, I think this is Sam. Okay, so the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. That's the committee. Oh, Sun Tzu, cool, if you're actually in there. Tell the others to chill out. If you're not, good quote, appropriate. Yeah, I'll play nice for now, if you will. All right, so I'm going to tell you, all this is Sam. And this is still Sam, but I'm starting to get lost in her ramblings, which is normal because she kind of does that. But let's look at why and think and ask questions about why and where I'm getting lost. Yeah, I'll play nice for now, if you will. What is she saying this to them? what does that mean? So, it, what does she mean by that? So she's saying this to them. What does she mean by that? I literally want to know. Like, wait, what does she mean by that? And I don't expect you to answer and tell me that, but it makes me wonder. Okay, so I'm not I'm not looking for Crystal Committee to tell me. I'm literally wondering, what does that mean? It almost it places distrust on the committee that's inside there with her. She's like, if you play nice for now, I'll play nice for now if you will. That implies that sometimes they might not be trust, she might not be able to trust them. And that's scary, honestly. Okay, balance, you can comment, but not to interrupt us, and distraction levels. I don't understand this sentence. Um, balance, is that a person? Is that an entity? Or is, I don't understand. I'm confused by this sentence. Okay, I know that it's Sam. I feel like it's Sam talking, but I don't understand it. I don't know what she's talking about. Balance, you can comment, but not to interrupt us. And distraction levels, yes, I appreciate your input. It's just hard at times. She's saying more, but what is she responding to there? The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Oh, Sun Tzu, cool if you're actually in there. Tell the others to chill out if you're not. Good quote, appropriate. Yeah, I'll play nice for now, if you will. I almost feel like you could omit all of this because I'm lost from this point on. But I was with you all the way up to this point. And I'm just going to say notes and videos because I've pointed to where you need to look. Okay. And then let's see if there's another one. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. All right, so that's the committee. Oh, if Machiavelli is in there, sorry, I was assuming. At least you can admit it. Appreciate the subtle communication. Let's keep working on that. That one I'm good with. That's all Sam in response, all of it. That's fine. All right. And then we assessed this one, and now we're on to section 2. So here we go. Garrett holds the door open for Sam and moves behind his desk. The office has no windows, only a rendered display of the view outside where they should be. A fake tree stands in one corner next to bookshelves filled with awards and framed pictures. Spanning the length of another wall is an inset fish tank, eerily realistic but devoid of life. This place is creepy. It's creepy. It's like fake. It's a facade. This whole building is a facade. Okay. All right. When it says it has no windows, okay, so it says the office has no windows, but as I'm reading it, has anybody ever seen, there's like a building. Oh, can't remember where it is. Is it Ohio or Pennsylvania? Oh my gosh. It's like a, what is the name of that architecture that is like really depressing? I forgot the name of the architecture, but there's a specific style that's just it's very cold. It has like, I don't want to say straight lines because that's dumb, but it's very generic. It's just very plain. That's it. Plain is what I'm going for. And there's a specific building that it showed up in a video, and I can't remember where it was, but I remember seeing the image of it, and it had no windows in this high-rise building. It had no windows. And I personally, if I am inside with artificial light for extended periods of time, I start to feel sick. I cannot, and my family is so annoyed by me because I will go around turning off all of the lights in the house, and I will walk around in the dark by flashlight or by the light of my phone or something, and not just the flashlight feature, but just the light of it. And I just I'm like, I know where I'm at. I know where everything is, and I don't need that. And I just don't like artificial light. So I'll sit in my office is my favorite place in the house because it has the most natural light. All of the rooms have 2 windows, but I keep my windows open, and I'm allowed to do that in my office no matter what the weather's like. And so it also gets the most light for the most part of the day. So it's kind of my happy room. But when I read this, I'm like, the office has no windows, and I immediately that building with no windows whatsoever comes to mind. And then it got worse, and even started to be even more like that, like solidifying that building in my mind. And I feel like there's like conspiracies surrounding that building, like what is it, or what's it used for, or and I think it might be like a government type thing. So it kind of fits this whole, the building, that image coming to my mind kind of fits this whole vibe. And as I kept reading, it kind of solidified it for me. So, like, there was only a rendered display of the view outside where they should be. And then a fake tree stands in one corner next to bookshelves filled with awards and framed pictures. Spanning the length of another wall is an inset fish tank, eerily realistic but devoid of life. That just creeps me out. It's it's so cold and depressing, and yet this fake attempt at something to bring life to the room, and even that attempt is fake in itself. Like, the even what could bring some life into the room, for example, a real fish tank, is fake. It's just so, good job. Good job on this opening paragraph. Good job. Good job. Okay. I have a sensation here. Okay, so I immediately started to get a sensation of cold and formal and like just fake. Okay, a facade. There we go. Sam eyes the tank. A chorus of opinions follows, uninvited. So this tells me that she's getting ready to have a thought that is from the committee, and she didn't ask for it. They're just gonna stick their 2 cents in there. Why are there no seahorses? One voice scoffs. Seahorses add whimsy. This place could use some. Real fish would be better. Why waste effort on illusions? Props, not companions. It's all about control, murmurs a darker one. Okay, so if really quick, this is still the committee, and it sounds like she's getting a chorus. Yeah, so she's got multiple voices telling her all these different things. I like this right here, murmurs a darker one. So this tells me that they have different sounds, and so that you're able to start getting the experience of having different voices in your head, a chatter of nonsense that is not helpful at all. Fake fish, fake world, everything stays predictable. Sam suppresses a smile, shaking off the chatter. Thanks, folks. That was enlightening. But can we table this for later? Please and thank you. She shifts her gaze to Garrett. I find the bubbling water combined with their mindless swimming relaxing. Admittedly, I forget to feed them, he chuckles. Good thing they're fake. Oh my gosh. I still have this very vivid visual of Garrett from S.H.I.E.L.D. every time Garrett talks, just even the things he says, his sort of attitude. I know, I feel like you said, he was kind of one of the players when you were kind of designing the character. Then you mentioned some others, but it all fits. It all fits. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Isn't it ironic? Alanis Morissette tune whispers, threading like a private joke. Yeah, I'll let you have that one, but we're defining lines. You'll try not to cross them? She studies the fish tank a beat longer, the grin fading. You're a busy man. Makes sense, sir. Okay, so committee and Sam, I'm just doing that as we go. You can relax in here. We're safe. I borrowed a few anti-surveillance cues from you and Amanda. Okay. Garrett leans back in his chair. Even though you've known me for most of your life, this is the first time we'll be working together in an official capacity. Orwell's voice hums through the committee, the phrase curling around her thoughts. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Subtle yet not. And so true, and so true. I think this in so many ways. How we, I should keep myself from going, but to keep it short, literally, you value the sadly, I'm going to use this poor squirrel that I did not follow the story of, but the minute I got the gist of it, I was like, I'm out. I can't handle this. It's going to upset me. So everybody got upset about the Peanut the squirrel that apparently, I guess, New York State seized and killed the animal, and it had been like a pet to this person that had been caring for it. I don't know the whole story. I don't need to know the whole story. That alone, just the highlights, was enough to upset an empath, okay? But here's what's interesting. Everyone is up in arms over this squirrel and the value of his life because he had meaning to this person. And meanwhile, meanwhile, there's an animal off at slaughter. Why does its life mean any less than that squirrel's? And so I have to have that. I'm going to voice it and we're going to move on. But I'm just saying that's what comes to my mind when I read this. Okay. It was off subject. Orwell's voice hums through the committee, the phrase curling around her thoughts. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, subtle yet not. Okay, so wait, this is Sam. This is the committee. And I'm identifying this every time in this breakdown, literally for Crystal Committee's benefit. But before she can get too comfortable, another thought snakes in, one she's heard 1,000 times before. In politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. FDR, nice. Okay, so that is the committee. And then this is Sam's response. FDR, nice. Did you do that because you know I like him or because you know more about Garrett than I do? Okay, this is vague. It could be Sam. I think it's Sam right here. I think it's Sam. I don't think it's the committee, but I am having to stop and decide. So sometimes the last few thoughts that she has will be where I start to get lost because if it's back and forth, this whole part is smooth. And then I get down here and I start to and I feel like that's at the end of most paragraphs is where I start to be like, wait, okay. And then what did that mean? So here, all you know more about Garrett than I do. So that is, I'm guessing, Sam. No need to share. So that's her telling them they don't need to keep talking. And then remember, we're trying to avoid overloading the Sam processor. That is Sam. And she's saying, stop it, y'all are overwhelming. Yeah, but we both know the truth. You've been using me all along while taking credit. Garrett grins back. I think let's omit back and just have Garrett grins. Just the official stuff. Had to. Imagine the egos that would have shattered if they discovered a teenager outsmarted them. Or worse, an adolescent, Sam adds with a laugh. Even as an adult, you're going to crush a few. Thus, part of the reason for the in-person visit. I wanted to check in, see if there was anything I could do as your boss to assist you and your team in adjusting. Not that I can think of, sir. Calling me sir, does that help? Because I'm not used to it. Yes, sir, 3 bags full, dances through her thoughts from the nursery rhyme committee. Yeah, don't make me regret being polite. Sam? Given the setting, I find it appropriate. Only a handful of people know our relationship. Most I'd prefer didn't. Best to avoid any concerns about favoritism. While I can keep it up when I'm focused, I don't want to slip. Here, it's sir in private. I'll drop it. Understandable, though fair warning, I doubt I'll have such strict adherence. These private meetings probably won't help. I'm certain you've already been a topic of conversation around the water cooler. It won't be long before I'm in the same boat. Let's give them something to talk about. The committee? Yeah, it's still the committee. This one, I give you a pass. I was thinking it already, but don't take advantage. And that's Sam giving them a quip back. Okay, section 3. Garrett shuffles some papers around his desk. You're here, so I take it things are okay at home with Amanda? I half expected you to request a delay, jet lag, some resettling time. Thought crossed my mind, but that's not the first impression I wanted with the team. Besides, I got one of the best nights of sleep I've had in a while. Sam shrugs, but her expression tightens. How am I supposed to summarize that mess? She listens to the committee. I'll go with your suggestion, but I don't think I always will. Okay is a generous word, but acceptable. It was good you saw the signs and gave her space. Okay, how am I supposed to summarize that mess? She listens to the committee. So I'm a little bit confused because this I feel like is Sam's thought. Then she listens to the committee, but this also reads as Sam's thought, so we don't know what the committee said back to her. We're not privy to that. And I wonder if for consistency we should be in the know. I don't know the answer. But it's kind of like she listens to the committee, kind of prepped me to think the committee was going to have a response. I'm assuming this is still Sam because it still says, I'll go with your suggestion, but I don't think I always will. So it's like they made a suggestion, but I don't know what that suggestion was. And then she says, okay is a generous word, but acceptable. It was good you saw the signs and gave her space. That's her just talking to Garrett, and it doesn't seem to fit the context of her conversation with the committee. I um I mean it does, because she's saying she's saying how am I supposed to summarize that mess? Okay. It it's there, but anyway, I mused the part right here and and why. So you've got my musings and you'll figure out. You'll know what to do. I know you will. The committee stirs, faint and distant. Too little, too late, one mutters. She's slippery. Be careful, murmurs another. Bitterness trailing off. Noted, but let's keep with the flow we've got going. All right, so all of that is the committee. This last part is Sam. It wasn't easy, Garrett admits. Same, not knowing what she found, what was happening. She was heading off the deep end, caught up in a justified conspiracy theory. The more she fought it, the worse it got. Vicious cycle, Garrett says with quiet compassion. Yeah, once we've all been sucked into it, we've all been sucked into at some point, including me. Garrett studies her for a moment. And the two of you? Better. It's good to be back in familiar territory, even if it's not exactly a warm security blanket. I can only imagine, Garrett offers. Now I feel guilty asking what I am. Sam smirks. Here it comes. He's been building to this. Got that. I appreciate you waiting to do it here in person. You've been wearing it on your sleeve for a while. Garrett grins. You've always been able to read me like a book. I know you're comfortable with your team, but I need to ask a favor. So early, Sam gives him a playful side eye. If it's too much, we've passed eggshell walking, aren't we? Oh, we're past eggshell walking, aren't we? Just spit it out. Garrett chuckles. Scott mentioned one of our experienced agents is coming back from retirement. Thank you for asking. I'm not going to limit you on gathering information, but hold it to discuss later. Okay. Thank you for asking. I'm not. Is she thinking this toward Garrett? Now I've realized when she has internal thoughts, if it's not directed to the committee, is this one like to Garrett? Is this her thought to Garrett? Thank you for asking. So he's going to ask her. He's gonna start talking about Scott. Mentioned one of our experienced agents is coming back from retirement. Okay. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. He hasn't asked yet, right? He hasn't, or he's hinting, he's warming up. She knows it's coming. I'm not going to limit you on gathering information, but hold it to discuss later. Is she talking to the committee or is she thinking this to Garrett? I'm confused. Is she talking to the committee or thinking this toward Garrett? Okay, and I'm sorry if I'm being dumb and I'm just missing it, but there's a lot to interpret. Okay. Sam hinted at that last night. Someone hinted at that last night. I'm going to start right here because I'm a little frustrated. I'm going to go back a line and read on through. Garrett chuckles. Scott mentioned one of our experienced agents is coming back from retirement. Thank you for asking. I'm not going to limit you on gathering information, but hold it to discuss later. Someone hinted at that last night. Amanda, Garrett states the obvious. The committee falls silent, their absence louder than any commentary. I know what you think of her. I know what you think of her. You don't have to say it. Let this be about Carter and comparing information sources. Thank you. Okay, so is she talking to the committee? All right, they've fallen silent. Is she saying this to Garrett? She knows what he thinks of her, or she knows what the committee thinks of her? I'm wondering. I'm going to say notes and video, so I'm not being redundant. And then let this be about Carter. That sounds like her hoping this is about Carter and comparing information sources. Thank you. Who is she thanking? I'm guessing the committee, because who else would she say thank you about? Or is she just closing out with her hope? If this is not toward the committee, then I would omit it. Okay. I'm just going to say notes and video because it's redundant. I keep going too long. But it's marking the spot that I'm trying to draw your attention to, so that helps. Yeah, don't blame her. Sam brushes off the tension. I wiggled it out of her, testing what we found. She's clean as a whistle. Inquiring minds want to know, Garrett gives a one-shoulder shrug. Something like that. His name is William Carter. Garrett leans forward. He's coming back after an extended leave. I'll let him fill you in on the details, but he's a good man. I trust you'll get along. Sam, please sit. The standing is unnerving. Sam drops into the chair opposite Garrett's desk. Not holding my breath on that one, but we're listening. All right, I think that's Sam. I think that's Sam. He chuckles. Either that or you'll drive each other crazy. He slides a stack of files toward her and touches the top one. Here's the case I'm assigning to you both. I had to make concessions to get him reinstated. Such as, he can't go near the missing persons case your team is handling. Sam holds up a finger. Not my team, but yeah, that's going to be tricky since Taryn Simmons, our missing persons, is his former partner. Feels like a disaster waiting to happen. Okay, committee, here's your chance. You've been learning from me and all those at the academy. Take a stab at it from the front as a friend. She throws the comment back to them. Sorry, couldn't resist. Hang on. So, okay, committee, here's your chance. This is Sam talking. You've been learning from me and all those at the academy. Also Sam. Take a stab at it from the front as a friend. Also Sam. She throws the comment back to them. Okay, so now she's waiting for them to respond. Sorry, couldn't resist. You work on plotting the what to say when, with all the pitfalls and caveats mapped out. I'll do my best to trust and listen without too much questioning. Deal? Okay, so we don't know what they said back to her. As far as I can tell, all of that is Sam. So now we're not in the know on what the committee is saying. If I'm right, if I'm interpreting it correctly, either way, that musing is going to help Crystal Committee know where they're at and if they need anything. That's part of the favor. I'm sure you and your team are up to it. You specifically are to be the barrier, Garrett explains. He also has minimal clearance. Let me guess, someone he pissed off wants to keep him in check? Exactly. Helpful hint, see if you can figure out who or the many that might have been. Yes, I will be quiet and let you work. Sam flips through the top file as a subtle smile forms across her mouth. Cold case? Okay, so helpful hint to see if you can figure out who or the many that might have been. Is that the committee or is that her making a note to herself or is it the committee? I am unsure. Yes, I will be quiet and let you work. Who is she saying that to? Because usually it's her trying to get the committee to be quiet and I'm a little confused. Okay, notes and video. There we go. It's not glamorous, Garrett acknowledges. It's fine. Closed more than a few of these while I was cooped up in the hospital. That you did. If I'd known boredom made you this productive, I'd have put you to work earlier. Dad wouldn't have allowed it. A warm, familiar tune hums in her mind. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night. That would be the committee. Sam smiles, turning the page. He'd have fought tooth and nail, and now I know why. Keeping me away from you and law enforcement was his way of protecting me. The committee sends some feelings of approval. I know I should have listened to him more often. So all of that makes perfect sense to me. She's being used by Garrett, and she's being used for all these things that they have her doing because of what she's able to do. And so her dad was protecting her. All right. Garrett chuckles. I wouldn't have gone against his wishes. It's my choice, Sam replies. True again. Sam cycles through the pages faster, absorbing the details. Just another puzzle. Secrets buried 6 feet deep. So what's the link between this case and the others? That's what I hope you'll figure out. You're good at spotting connections. Sam grins. Yeah, I've heard that somewhere. While intuition is valuable, the courts want tangible evidence. An audit, then? It's more like an unofficial review. I'm hoping this cold case will lead to others, but, Garrett adds, I need you to do it without drawing that direct attention to Carter. Give this girl one cookie and she'll find the whole jar. All right, that's the committee. A playful hum bubbles from the committee. I want candy. That's the committee. Babysitting Carter and all that is going to take more than cookies, Sam says. That might need some serious baking. Garrett laughs. Amanda told you about the restrictions on him? Yes, but if you're asking me to spy on him, to build up some kind of betrayal, that's a deal breaker. Partners need trust. No spying. Sam narrows her gaze. Not exactly reassuring, but okay. The committee chimes in with a knowing whisper. Trust issues. Join the club. Okay, so we know which one's the committee and which one's Sam in that one because it's literally identified. Section 4. Garrett frees another stack of folders from a drawer and places them on the desk and nudges them towards her. Okay, so we've got two ands. It's not a deal breaker, but I think we could do a little bit better. Garrett feeds another stack of folders from a drawer, placing them on the desk and nudging them towards her. Maybe placing. Oh, I don't want all this lined stuff. I'm trying to put. Okay, placing. All right, let's try it. Garrett frees another stack of folders from a drawer, placing them on the desk, and nudges them towards her. So we have two thems as well. So it's two ands and two thems. Nudging. How about we make it nudging? Nudging the files towards her. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go. And nudging. We may have to put the and back in there. And nudging them. Let's try it. Garrett frees another stack of folders from a drawer, placing them on the desk and nudging them towards her. And yes. Okay. And here I'm suggesting you say and nudging the files. So you can omit one of the thems. That's just a suggestion. I want you to dig without reopening them officially, Garrett continues. Find non-classified ways to link them. If we're lucky, we can close them without a tussle. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. The committee's voice slips in, playful but dripping with malice. Sure, mutually assured destruction. Partner addition, I can work with that. It kind of resembles you. The committee scoffs. You asked for it. Okay, so this is the committee. This is Sam inside here. Hang on. Wait a minute. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. That's the committee. This is Sam. Oops, this middle line. And then this ending is the committee. And here's one thing I am wondering. Should this be in quotation marks? Because we have other sayings and song lyrics that are not in quotation marks. I think it's a style choice. If you want to put the committee's remarks in quotations, it'll be clearer when you see quotations and italics every time that you know that it's the committee talking. And then Sam's direct thoughts are still in italics, but they're not encapsulated in the quotation marks. That would keep them separate easily, and that would be a style choice. But whatever you choose to do, I would be consistent. And that's my thoughts on that. We're going to keep going. Garrett leans back. You up for it? Oh yeah, let the suspicion hang to keep the straight and narrow appearances. Though, why these cases? They all have one thing in common, but it's not written in the files. Some of the evidence is real, and some isn't. And Steiner will scrutinize your every move. Already expected that. I'm sure it has nothing to do with his insistence that my parents were traitorous double agents with you as their ringleader. It was earned, Garrett adds. Earned? That's what you had at the CIA before Steiner almost torched everything with his accusations. And you were given this bureau post after stepping down a rung, becoming his boss and yanking his ass out of the Phoenix fire. We're not gonna take it, belts the committee, buzzing with rebellious glee. Oh yeah, time to give Steiner a taste of his own medicine. But you do realize you just agreed with Amanda. A reflective thought slips in. Okay, so this is the committee. This is Sam. A reflective thought slips in. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. You did not just drop Mark Twain on me. You did. Okay, so this is the committee, and this is Sam. Do you see the correlation? Sam, Samantha, Samuel Clemens. Maybe, kind of, sort of, but I like it. All right, so I'm not sure if this question is the committee or Sam. Sam, Samantha, Samuel Clemens. Maybe, kind of, sort of, but I like it. I'll take the nudge. You want to play the Steiner angle? I'm an open book, but most of that is with Amanda. You will have to have a direct conversation. Not ready for that? Understandable. We'll work out the details. All of this, I think, is Sam. Oops, I don't want that. How do I undo it? Okay, click. All right. All of this, I think, is Sam. Garrett chuckles. Well, when you put it that way. Oh, you want me to? Color me surprised. Here I go. I think this is Sam. To top it all off, I'm assigned to your office. Not a big deal unless you count you showing up at the bedside of a quadriplegic kid caught in an avalanche years ago. I was knocking on heaven's door and Amanda had already RSVP'd, orphaned, paralyzed, and broke. You were just there to help. No ulterior motives, right? Oh, but surely we jest to ignore the history between us. Okay. Wait. This is Sam talking, and then this is still Sam talking. So when I got here in this highlighted spot and I realized it was Sam talking, all of a sudden it made me wonder if the dialogue above it was Garrett, but it's still Sam. So I'm giving pause. So I'm going to say notes and video, and you will know what I'm talking about and where. Garrett leans back, letting her speak without interruption. He knows better than to try stopping her now. All it took was Steiner asking about me and my relation to you, and boom, paternity test. I'm suddenly the daughter of accused but never convicted traitors. I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, the committee offers with mockery. We know that's the committee because you said so. I'm going to let you run, pick your poison. I think that's still the committee. Another thought from them follows. She echoes it out loud. The sins of the father are to be laid upon the children. Shakespeare, in case you were wondering. Nothing like a good curse handed down through the generations. Another voice nudges from the committee. All Steiner needed was a modern-day version of a Puritan pointy hat because he'd already lit the bonfire and thrown us on it. Garrett's one eye closes halfway, giving her a subtle, open hand to continue. Oh, committee, this is where it comes from, that fuel. You've got it in spades. I'm going to let you get it out, as it's good for all of us. Just keep it in the realm of Sam knowledge, because we know when I go seriously historical, that's a sign for Garrett that I'm about to blow a gasket. Let's not do it in the workplace. Interesting request. Can we consider it when I'm not sitting in front of my boss? Deal. I'm going to touch on Amanda now. And with what you're asking, maybe you won't have to speak directly. I like the agreement. Okay, so I think that's a lot of back and forth between them. Let's break it down. Oh, committee, this is where it comes from, that fuel. You've got it in spades. I'm going to let you get it out as it's good for all of us. Just keep it in the realm of Sam knowledge, because we know when I go seriously historical, that's a sign for Garrett that I'm about to blow a gasket. Let's not do it in the workplace. All of this is Sam. Now, she's got right here, I think, if there's something from the committee, I think you need something to indicate that. Right here. Okay, I'm just going to say notes and video. And right here, this next part is interesting request. It seems like that's still Sam, and they have said something to her that is not in the know to the reader here. But I feel like we need something, because there's a whole lot of text up here that is Sam. And then she goes on, but now she's having like a conversation with herself, and we're only privy to half of it. I just needed something there. Interesting request. Can we consider it when I'm not sitting in front of my boss? And then now they've said something back to her here. Maybe she can have a thought. Oh, it can't be a thought because this is all indirect thought. I need a break. I need like a break here between them, like something that pushes it back and forth. I know she's responding to them, but she's having a one-way conversation. Just kind of makes her seem like a mad woman, honestly, the poor thing. But why, I am curious this, why are we, the reader, sometimes privy to both sides of the conversation, but not always? And I guess that's to keep some information hidden. That's my rationalizing right there. Okay. And then she's saying deal. So she's agreed to something. I'm going to touch on Amanda now. And with what you're asking, maybe you won't have to speak directly. Okay, I'm wondering if this is the committee. Maybe you could describe the voice. And if the voice is different, I will know it's the committee. Okay, there you go. Sam takes a breath and continues. For no one drops out of nowhere. Yep, the avalanche that killed her. Not once, but twice. It was all some plot of hers to infiltrate what? The not-so-smart humans crushed by tons of snow club? She couldn't remember who she was, but brain damage leading to traumatic amnesia wasn't good enough for him. It was all an elaborate ruse. He elicited, he incarcerated, he tortured. Unable to establish any evidence to support his version of crazy delusion, he let us go. Yet here we are years later. Garrett looks to her, and she senses it from his feelings, combined with the committee's giving her the notice to call the curtain on it. She releases a breath. If you heard that, Steiner, you deserve every word, she blurts into the air of the room. Sorry, been wanting to get that off my chest. Got that, Garrett replies with a smirk. Sam's calm returns. I don't blame you. Never thought you did. I blame him. Know that, Garrett drops. And we want vindication. Garrett taps the stack of files. Hopefully these will help, and I'm not touching the we comment. Good, because I wouldn't give you an answer. Shit, you're revealing. I get he's intuitive. I'll look and ask the questions. You be inquisitive in the background. We just proved we can work together. A smile creeps into her expression, intending to be internal but manifests physically. What are they? Okay, let's break this one down. This one is Sam. I get he's intuitive. I'll ask the questions and you be inquisitive in the background. Sam. We just proved we can work together. Still Sam. Okay. Cases Steiner worked on, officially and unofficially. Clean on paper, but we know better. But cases aren't just files. They're people, lives, families, all shaped by events and circumstances, Sam offers. Yes. Do you think he's dirty? Sam asks, holding for an honest read for the committee. From holding for an honest read from the committee? Or for the committee? She's reading him? She's reading Garrett? I'm unclear. Okay. Unclear if she's waiting to hear from the committee or if she's reading Garrett. I'm not really sure. My gut tells me what yours does. I know he's dodging, but it feels like he doesn't know. You've got something. Your investigation will take time later. I got to cover now. That's not an answer. If I've learned, okay, so she's talking to the committee. If I've learned anything, it's to trust those feelings. Steiner's not a bad seed, but he's made to look like one. Maybe by his own hand, maybe not. I have comments. Yes, I know you can hear them, but is this working for us? Me giving you this? Sorry on the word choice. Okay, agreed. Don't like it? I'll say it. Okay, so all of this is like up above. And here, we're only privy to one side of the conversation, but it's all Sam talking to the committee. We don't know their responses. If he hasn't done anything wrong, he shouldn't be accused. Not that I have room to talk. Me and Amanda are kettles calling the pot black. Sam gathers the files. She gathers the files, clean, borderline, or crossing the line. That's what you want, right? Yes, absorb the data like you do and pass what's needed to Carter. Quietly. He shouldn't know where you're pulling it from. Not bringing him in yet. I'm still churning on this, and I'm running the show, but he's really doing it thing. No, he needs plausible deniability. Your point. He follows your lead. So publicly he's in charge? Committee, can you? Yeah, we'll work on format. Thank you. All right, so that's her talking to them. Yes, you could learn from him. He never let go of what happened to his ex-partner. Even when I backed off, he kept pushing. Which means there's something to hide, Sam concludes. Yes, and Carter believes Steiner helped bury it. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, croons the committee. All right, so we know it's them. You've said so. Yep, that's not a great foundation to build on, but I like divide and rule, a sound motto. Churchill. Good plan. Okay. All right, let me see if I can interpret this. So she answers, them says yes, that's not a great foundation to build on. But I like divide and rule, a sound motto, Churchill. So that when they come, Usually they talk to her in mottos and lyrics. So I'm when I see this, I want to think that it's them saying it, but I also kind of think it's still Sam. So I am unsure about this part. I'm going to read on through. Maybe I'll get my answer with some clarity afterward. Yep, that's not a great foundation to build on, but I like divide and rule, a sound motto. Churchill, good plan. Just make sure no one sees who's pulling the strings. Yes, I'm trusting you on this. Why wouldn't I? So all of that is Sam talking to the committee, maybe. Okay, I'm just going to say, I'm going to mark the spot. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to try again. All right. Is this the committee or Sam? I'm not entirely sure. Remember, don't answer me. Just I don't want you to answer me. I just want you to know where I had a question. But as a reader, like it'll tell you what you need to do, not me. You don't have to reply to me. Okay. Let's see. Yes, I'm trusting you on this. Why wouldn't I? Multiple examples cross Sam's mind in quick succession. Okay, you have me there. But yes, I am. Wait, what's the catch from 10 to 5 requests? Why does it have to be so dramatic? I just want to put a little apostrophe in there. I don't need a big old line through the whole entire word. Oh, you're considering my time? Appreciate it. I think I can do it. So let's go with minimum and maximum and we'll land somewhere in between. Okay, so this is all her talking to the committee. I know better than to interrupt, but I know you feel my concern and internal stuff. Lots going on in here. She taps to her temple. He's noticing, so just go do it. See how your interruptus is causing problems? Make me a list. Dewey Decimal is best, but I know there are others. Those of you who are old school, tell me how to find it. Let me get out of here, and we'll talk about that. Her eyes roll from side to side, then settle when she looks to Garrett. Little hitch with you putting me and Carter together, the Steiner connection specifically. Let me explain. Carter's street smarts plus your instincts. That's all her talking to the committee, by the way. Let me explain. Carter's street smarts plus your instincts turn over the right stones. Find what's buried or isn't. Make the call if it needs to stay that way or not. A rudimentary way of saying it. You're giving me carte blanche to this. She touches the files. You do know this could lead to a smelly worm farm. Yes, I do, but worms aren't always smelly when taken care of appropriately. Sam laughs. I get that. I'll poke into his business. He's had us over the flame long enough. Give me a moment with my thoughts while I coordinate a barter or price tag for this one. She holds up a finger and touches into the committee. Earlier agreements, we would like to act on one of them. The series referenced as George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones. We would request to experience more of this story through your modern fiction writers, as much of it is based on what you call our history. We understand your curiosity. It is to aid in our ability to share facts of our lives in fictional forums to avoid the incarceration into a mental facility that you fear and reference to us often. That is our compromise. Sam, Garrett asks of her delay. Still thinking, this is your way of getting your foot in the door, connecting actual events via fictional ones. It can bring curiosity and get people internet searching and into libraries. Oh, and good cover for looking into stuff that is hundreds of years old and hasn't been touched since. And it's not all us. It's a little making the minions do the groundwork, but I like it. You have a deal. Mind if I borrow a piece of paper here? Sam doesn't hesitate and reaches for one, taking a pen from his desk and starts writing. I'm curious, he asks. It's not related directly, but some investigators I know are curious. Report directly to you? Sam asks as she scribbles. Only when necessary. Otherwise, you work in this office, so standard operating procedure. And if I tell you to back off, means I've hit the right dirt. She turns the paper around. I know, not your normal request, but it will help me a ton. Garrett studies her and the note. This isn't for you. No. Those with you? Yes. Ebooks are too easily traceable and may be counterproductive. So, hard copies. I can do that. I have some empty space on the bookshelf. Okay if I read first? Don't care. Sam smiles and returns to the files at hand as if the request had not happened. Something you want to ask? Sam poses as she returns to flipping through the files. I'm pausing for a second. So I'm reading this. It seems to me all of these up here and all of these here are her making a proposal to the committee. We're not privy to their side of the conversation and to whatever the agreement is, or I'm misunderstanding. So I'm a little bit fuzzy with the internal thought. I'm not sure. I feel like it was all Sam talking to them and requesting that they communicate to her through fiction. And then he's getting hard copies instead of e-copies because that's not traceable. And so I'm guessing, are they going to relay information to her that she has to decode through quotes? And so she's going to have to read this text in order to get this information, and they're going to speak to her as she comes across it. That's what I'm getting. So I don't know if I'm right or not, but that's what I'm rationalizing here. Okay. Let's see. Garrett studies her in the note. This isn't for you. No. Those with you? Yes. Okay. Hard copies. Got it. Here we go. Don't care. Sam smiles and returns to the files at hand as if the request had not happened. Something you want to ask, Sam poses as she returns to flipping through them because we already have the files. Through them. Okay. Garrett shifts. I'm not sure if I should bring it up here or it's about Amanda. Sam cuts in. This is as good as time as any, for me anyway. You already know what it's about. Have a feeling. You concerned? I might be seeing things out of context. You're not, Sam replies, eyes fixed on the pages. If I meet his gaze, I'll feel the guilt, and that's not going to help either of us. You've had your suspicions for a while. Have you talked to her? Followed up on any of them? Just clarifying, Garrett asks. Her leg, Sam offers. She's hiding the fact it's not healed. I'm no doctor. But you've seen the records, the ones she let you see the other night. Even they aren't the full story. A proper exam would show her organs are failing. Garrett nods. She's changing the data. Yeah, medical genius. We both know the only reason we survived Landing View was her feeding me the right stuff. But the pain meds, that's the real problem. She knows it's bad, just not how bad. There's more to it than physical dependence, Garrett asks with caution. Given what she's been through, this was bound to happen, but I notice she's hitting them harder now. Are you thinking she's addicted? I think this is supposed to be a lowercase. There we go. I know it, but don't have the proof, Sam admits. Her choices aren't your responsibility, Garrett offers, holding up a hand before she can interrupt. Sam pushes through Garrett's objection. I know her choices aren't mine, but they affect me. Garrett leans back. I hear a but coming. Sam gives him a wry smile. But someone is forcing this on her without her knowledge. That's different. Criminal even. What's your theory? Somewhere between her refill and delivery, the meds are getting swapped with counterfeits, laced with something else. I've got a friend looking into it. Chavez? Obvious choice, but no. Personal and professional lines shouldn't cross, at least not yet. Who then? Not ready to say, Sam replies, making it clear this stays her secret. Could be a dealer keeping his customers loyal. You know it's bigger than that. Yeah, it always is. Sam closes the folder. She didn't rig the pharmaceutical tracking system, but she knew someone did. Garrett frowns. With her skills, that wouldn't be hard. She could do it in her sleep. Sam taps the folder. What's worse, Steiner had to know and said nothing. That's concerning. Want me to look into it? Sam glances at him. If I have a choice, let's keep it unofficial for now. No need to stir the hornets unless it's more than a dealer with good cover. Understood. Sam's expression softens as she picks up another file. This is when I miss Dad the most. With Amanda, I can talk, but it's harder when it involves her, Garrett finishes. Yeah. Maybe pushing her when she was exhausted was a mistake, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was her way of steering me away from something she didn't want me to see. That's all Sam. Garrett studies her with focused attention. Not like you to doubt yourself. What did she do? A lie of omission, but the intent was clear. And then I didn't call her out. She put on a mask, acting like nothing happened. Sam shakes her head, frustration simmering. What bothers me most? That she thought she got away with it. That I let her believe it. But I can't judge her behavior until I know what's driving it, right? She pauses. I could use her help with this, if that's okay. Use whatever resources you need. Once you finish with those, Garrett nods at the files. I'm hands off. Okay. Sam puts down the folder and grabs the last one in the stack. I know it's not that big. What happened with Amanda? It was just one time. Which you're not sure won't happen again, Garrett adds. You've been at the academy, surrounded by other agents, while Amanda's been stuck at home going stir-crazy. You're both out of sync. He gives her a knowing look. Can either of you really expect things to be the same as they were? Sam tilts her head, a reluctant smile forming. Well, when you put it like that. Section 6. I'm here all week, Garrett says with a grin, like a closing act. Readjustment pains, just part of it. Until you know what's been tampered with, don't let it come between you two. Sam lets out a small laugh. What? Garrett asks, raising an eyebrow. It's funny, I'm usually the one preaching caution. Wait for all the facts before drawing conclusions. You're processing. Good to see you involving others instead of holding it all in like you used to. I guess. Sam flips through the file, barely looking up. So is Carter always late? Garrett checks the clock. Probably lost track of time in the dungeon. The dungeon? It's what they call the basement. Carter's a geek, really particular about his setup, insists on doing it himself. I'm too sexy for this job, Right said Fred sneaks in, the committee's playful jab landing. Great, he's already building his shrine, a mad scientist building his lab in the basement. Please let this one be the lovable kind and not the accidentally create a monster kind. Sam arches a brow. We're supposed to work together and he's already nesting downstairs. She flicks a glance at Garrett. You really think we'd be a good pair? I sense your doubt. She points a finger at him. Garrett smiles. Complementary skills. You're to people what he is to data. You're to people what he is to data. Neither of you trust things unless you handle them yourselves. Okay, I'm going to pause, go back, and evaluate this paragraph. I'm too sexy for this job. That's the committee. Great. He's already building a shrine. So I feel like all of that was Sam after that point, and we're going to keep going. A tech whisperer, huh? Anywhere near Amanda's skill level? That's a loaded question. It's how I like them. Garrett chuckles. Honestly, I don't understand 99% of what they do, so I can't say. So he's good, Sam concludes, flipping another page. That's what he did before. Cybercrime, mostly. And the rest, classified. If it's not classified, Sam asks, glancing up. Garrett smirks. Your lie detector would know. Yeah, so is he the secretive type? Garrett leans back. Not sure what you mean. Sam tilts her head. Like you've got secrets, but when I poke, it's all warm barriers with warning lights. Amanda slaps my hand, but it's still friendly. Then there are the types with razor wire and armed guards ready to shoot the moment you ask a question. Garrett chuckles. He's somewhere between me and Amanda, but I've seen him lose control. Not pretty? It never is. They fall into silence. Garrett watches Sam, sensing she's chewing on something. She flips through the file, stopping at a page. She compares it with another, a nagging familiarity pulling at her mind. There's something here. What's got your attention? Garrett asks. This is hard to explain, Sam mutters. I guess this is what normal people without a memory like mine mean by tip of the tongue or deja vu. Is this the real life or is this just fantasy? Queen's lyrics hum through her thoughts, mocking her. Sam brings the paper close to her nose, sniffs it, then frowns. She sniffs again. It's weird. I can't tell if it's the texture or the scent. Maybe both? She wrinkles her brow, trying to place the memory. I've smelled this before, but where? Okay. All right, so we had a brief little thing from the committee there, and we're going to keep going. Has that happened before? Garrett asks. She draws in a long breath, thinking, no, not like this, but I've got it now. I'll figure it out. She pauses, sensing Garrett's unspoken question. There's more, she says aloud. Section 7. When you're settled, Steiner wants to touch base, he says. Sam freezes. Garrett raises a hand. We talked about this, and this meeting is pretense of me running interference. Yeah, we did. Sorry, natural flight or fight response. Put out the olive branch, see where it takes you. Give peace a chance, John Lennon. Fine, but only until the first sign of trouble, and you better back me up. You know that's walking into the lion's den. All right, so a little quote by the committee, and then Sam's response. Your clearances are all set, while you have access to other materials. Stay on track and don't wander, Sam finishes with a smirk. Yes, try not to give Steiner any more reasons to suspect you. Surely you jest, her smile spreads, not so innocent. What's life without pushing boundaries? Only because you asked nicely. If Carter won't come here, should I go to him, or can I go back to my team? She shoots Garrett a hopeful look, like a kid asking if they can play before finishing homework. Garrett grins. Go on, let me know if you need anything. Your friendly SAC. You got it. Steiner's office is still 2 floors down at the end of the hall away from the elevators? Yes. Any issue if I drop by on my way? Just another game of cat and mouse. Let's hope I'm the cat this time. You're clear for this floor. That one, your team's on the 5th and the dungeon. Don't wander beyond that. No problem. Sam pauses as everything clicks into place. Wow. Garrett arches a brow. What just happened? You're putting a lot on my shoulders. I'm still standing from Elton John squirms into her thoughts. Standing, walking, running. Let's just hope I don't trip. First part from the committee, second part Sam's thoughts. Garrett meets her gaze. Wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't thought it through. If I missed something, that's what I have you for. Sam smiles. His words are solid. No deception. He means it. As long as we're on the same page. Plans are nothing. Planning is everything. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Great. Planning on the fly. Story of my life. Okay. Why am I? I've got this. Okay, I think this goes up here. Okay, so lots going on. I feel like you're setting up a whole bunch of different things. Like she's got, yeah, there's like so many things going on. I can't follow all the threads. Wow. I'm just accepting the information you give me each time I read a chapter. I'm like, okay. So we know Amanda's sick. We know Sam has a case and it involves multiple parties. We've got the committee talking to her and chiming in, and then she's made an agreement with them. It seems like Garrett's aware that they're in there with her, but he may not understand the full extent of it, so he just doesn't ask questions. He just knows she has resources he does not have. That's kind of the gist I get. Since I'm reading for other people, I may be forgetting some of the details, and I'm kind of telling everybody that. So forgive me if I get anything wrong, but that is what I've kind of derived from this section. And so my musings there will tell you if you've hit all of the goals you had, and hopefully they are helpful. So now I think we are ready to go do chapter 12. So guys, thank you for joining me. This is reading, by the way, Crystal Committee, this is reading really well. So major leaps and bounds here, getting internal thought. I'm getting actions, like movements. The dialogue's always been solid. So a little bit tricky trying to navigate the committee in the middle of all that. So wow. Okay. And on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to go over and do chapter 12. Guys, I'll see you next time on Mystery Ed Reads.